Welcome to Cheat Sheet Tales, where secrets slip, lies unravel, and the truth always has a twist. Real stories, raw confessions, shocking betrayals. Drop a comment if you've ever caught a red flag too late. Now, let's get into today's tale. One morning, my partner found the secret messages I'd been hiding in a locked folder. He scrolled through each one, his hands shaking as he read every word. "You never meant any of this, did you?" he said quietly. He walked out without another word. But the last thing he said made my heart pound with dread. "My name is Elise. I'm 34. I've lived in Asheville, North Carolina for the past 8 years. I've been with Nathan for 6 of those. We met through mutual friends at a trivia night downtown. He was quiet but smart, and he smiled at me like I was the only person in the room. I had just come off a bad breakup. He felt like peace, stability, safety, and he was for a long time. We moved in together after a year. We got a dog, a goofy golden retriever named Bentley. We talked about marriage, about kids someday. Our life wasn't exciting, but it felt solid, comfortable, and then I got bored. I didn't know it at the time. I just started feeling restless. I worked remote customer support for a bank. Nathan worked at a small law firm, long hours, always tired. We didn't talk like we used to. We'd eat dinner, watch TV, go to bed, repeat. I miss feeling wanted, desired, heard. That's when Adrian showed up. He messaged me on Facebook last fall. Nothing wild, just a "Hey, long time no see." I hadn't talked to him since college. We had one moment, one night freshman year at a party. He kissed me, pulled me into a room, but nothing happened past that. I remembered him being wild, funny, a little reckless, so I replied just to say hi. We started chatting here and there. It felt innocent, then it wasn't. He flirted. I flirted back. I laughed at his jokes. He said I looked better than ever. I sent a selfie. He sent one back to shirtless. I didn't stop it. Then we moved to texting. Then late night calls. Then photos. Then dirty talk. All while Nathan was asleep in the other room. I didn't think of it as cheating at first. I wasn't sleeping with Adrian. We never met up. It was just talking. That's what I told myself. But I knew I was lying. I saved the messages. I don't know why. Maybe it was the thrill. Maybe I liked the idea of having a secret. Maybe I was just being careless. I put them in a locked folder on my phone. Used a password I thought no one could guess. I didn't think Nathan would ever find them. He wasn't the type to snoop. He trusted me, God. He trusted me so much. That morning, everything came crashing down. It was a Sunday, the kind where everything is still and slow. Nathan was making breakfast. Scrambled eggs, toast, coffee. I was half awake, scrolling on my phone. And I opened the folder again just for a minute. I wanted to reread what Adrian had said to me 2 nights ago. He told me he dreamed about me, that he thought about me when he touched himself, that he wished I'd fly out and finally make it real. Then Bentley barked, and I forgot to close the folder. A few minutes later, Nathan came in to ask if he could use my phone. His was dead. I said, "Sure." Didn't even think. It took me about 5 minutes to realize what I'd done. I walked into the office and saw him sitting there, my phone in his hand, his thumb moving slowly. He wasn't saying anything, just reading message after message. "Nathan," I said. He didn't turn around. He just kept scrolling. His other hand started shaking a little. Then finally, he spoke. "You never meant any of this, did you?" I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Then the floodgates opened. I started babbling, telling him it was just online, that it wasn't real, that I never met up with him, that I was just lonely and dumb and looking for attention. I told him I was sorry. I told him I loved him. He turned to me slowly, and I'll never forget the look in his eyes. He said, "I would have given you anything, but now I have nothing left to give." Then he got up, walked out. No yelling, no slamming doors. He didn't take his phone, didn't grab a jacket, didn't even look at me again. He just called Bentley over, clipped on his leash, and left. That was the last normal moment of my life. After that, everything blew up. And the worst part, I deserved every bit of it. I stood there for a long time after he left, just staring at the door. My phone was still sitting on the desk, folder wide open, messages glowing back at me like a spotlight on everything I had destroyed. I didn't know what to do. Should I chase after him? Should I call? Should I cry? I just stood there. About 20 minutes later, I texted him one line, "Please come home." No reply. I waited another hour. Called. It rang 4 times. Then voicemail. I didn't leave a message. I didn't even know what I would have said. I just stared at the walls, listening for any sound, hoping to hear the jingle of Bentley's collar. But it never came. That night, I slept on the couch. I kept thinking about his face, the way he didn't even raise his voice. That made it worse. I kept replaying his words. "I would have given you anything." I had never heard someone sound so broken and calm at the same time. The next morning, I woke up to silence again. No note, no call. Then I heard my phone buzz. It was Nathan. One line, "I'm staying at my sister's. Don't contact me until I'm ready." He had a younger sister, Celine. They weren't close growing up, but after their mom died a few years ago, they'd gotten tighter. She lived on the other side of town, had 2 kids, a husband, the whole family setup. I'd been over there plenty of times. She never liked me much, too polite to say it, but I could feel it in the way she smiled at me, tight and fake. That week dragged by like hell. Every second felt like I was walking barefoot on glass. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I checked my phone constantly. I deleted everything from Adrian. Photos, messages, call history. I even blocked him. Not because I wanted to fix things with Nathan. I knew it was probably too late, but because I felt disgusting. Then things started happening fast. On Friday, Celine showed up at our house. I wasn't ready for that. She stood on the porch in jeans and a sweatshirt, arms crossed. She didn't come to talk. She came to collect Nathan's stuff. "Don't make this harder than it already is," she said, walking past me into the house. "I've got a list." She handed me a piece of paper with handwriting I recognized. It was Nathan's. Clothes, shaving kit, chargers, work files, watch, dog toys, that stupid worn-out hoodie he loved. I followed her around like a ghost, trying to talk, trying to explain. She cut me off. "Elisa, don't," she said. "You think this is the first time I've seen a woman destroy my brother?" I didn't even try after that. When she left, she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "He doesn't even cry. Not about anything." But the night he came to our house, he couldn't stop. So no, I don't care if you're sorry. She drove away with his stuff. And Bentley again, that weekend. Adrian tried messaging me from a different number. I didn't respond. I blocked that too. I hated him now. But more than that, I hated myself. I kept thinking about the life we were building, the wedding we were planning for next year, the dog, The way Nathan used to leave me little sticky notes on the fridge that said things like "hope you slept okay" or "left toffs in the microwave." All gone because of what I did. But that wasn't even the worst part yet. Because a few days later, someone else found out. Someone I never expected. And that's when everything really started to spiral. The next hit came from a direction I didn't expect at all. My job. 3 days after Celine came by, I got called into a video meeting with HR. I thought it was about a client complaint or a scheduling change. But the second I saw my manager's face, I knew something was off. "Hi, Elise," she said. "We've received a concerning report, and we need to talk." My stomach dropped. They told me someone had submitted an anonymous report to HR accusing me of using company time and equipment for inappropriate communications, that I had been engaging in sexually explicit conversations and sharing personal media while logged into work systems. They said they had screenshots. They said it involved use of my work email at some point. I couldn't speak. I just sat there, mouth dry. They gave me a chance to respond. I couldn't deny it completely. Some of the texts and images I'd sent to Adrian were definitely during work hours. I had used my work laptop once or twice. I felt like an idiot. It wasn't just a mistake. It was a violation. I was placed on immediate unpaid leave while they conducted a formal review. I didn't have to ask who reported me. I knew it was Nathan, and honestly, I didn't even blame him. It felt like he wanted to ruin me. And part of me knew I deserved it. But things didn't stop there. A week later, I was still waiting to hear back from work. I hadn't left the house. I hadn't eaten anything solid in days. Then my mom called. I hadn't told her anything. I didn't plan to. But Nathan did. He had called her, told her what I did, told her I cheated, told her everything. I don't know what I expected from her, but what I got, it still burns. "Elise," she said, her voice calm but cold. "I raised you better than this. How could you throw everything away?" I tried to explain, to cry, to apologize. She didn't yell. She didn't hang up. But the conversation ended with, "I think you need to figure out who you are. And until then, I don't want to be part of the mess." It was like I'd been drowned. Not with screaming, but with silence. Now I was alone in every direction. Nathan was gone. Bentley was gone. My job was hanging by a thread. My mom wouldn't speak to me, and every time I opened my phone, I was haunted by memories I couldn't delete fast enough. But there was one more twist coming. One I didn't see coming at all. And it came in the form of a plain white envelope taped to my front door. Inside was a single printed photo. One of the screenshots from the folder, me, topless, smiling at the camera. A text underneath. "Still think this didn't count as cheating? No name, no note, no return address." That's when the panic really set in. Someone else had those messages now. Someone who wanted to hurt me, and they weren't done yet. When I saw that photo, my heart stopped. I stood there on the porch, the envelope still in my hand, fingers trembling. I looked around, like maybe someone was watching me from a car or across the street. But there was no one. Just the quiet hum of a normal Tuesday morning in my neighborhood. I went inside and locked every door and window. I stared at that photo for a long time. I knew exactly which one it was. I had sent it to Adrian. Maybe for months ago. I was trying to be playful. It was stupid. And now it was in someone else's hands. Someone who hated me enough to print it and tape it to my front door. I didn't call the police. I probably should have. But what would I even say? That someone found a picture I willingly sent and was using it to scare me? I didn't know if it was Adrian. I didn't know if it was Nathan. Maybe Celine. Maybe even someone from work. Or a complete stranger. I had no idea how far it had gone. What I did know was this: I wasn't in control anymore of anything. That night, I turned off all the lights and sat in the dark. I didn't eat, didn't sleep. I kept looking at the shadows outside, waiting for another envelope, another threat. But nothing came. The next day, I got a call from HR. Final decision: termination. They said my behavior was a violation of company policy and professional conduct expectations. They didn't ask for a response. They just mailed me a separation agreement and said I'd forfeit my final paycheck if I didn't sign. I signed it with no job, no partner, no dog, and no one in my corner. I tried to keep it together. I made a schedule for myself, tried to apply for other remote jobs, tried to eat 2 meals a day. But the guilt didn't go anywhere. It just sat in me like a heavy stone. Then 2 weeks later, I got a message from Celine. It said, "Don't come to the hospital. He doesn't want you here." My chest tightened. I called her. She didn't answer. I called again. Nothing. Then finally, I got a message from Nathan. "It's nothing major. I had a panic attack. Stress-related. Don't make it about you." That hit harder than any insult he could have thrown at me. I wanted to say something, to apologize again, to tell him how bad things had gotten for me. But I didn't. I just stared at the message. He had had a panic attack. My actions did that. He was never the type to break down. He held everything in. And now it had broken him. A few days later, I sent him a message. The last one I'd send. "I won't contact you again. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not to get you back. Not for pity. Just sorry for everything. You didn't deserve what I did. I hope you heal from this. I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope someday you feel whole again." He didn't reply. I didn't expect him to. Now I live in a small apartment on the edge of town. No one knows what happened, at least not yet. But I don't go out much. I've gained weight. I drink more than I should. My sleep is wrecked. I cry at weird times, like when I see someone walking a dog that looks like Bentley, or when I pass the little bakery we used to go to every Sunday. Sometimes I hear a knock on the door and panic that it's another envelope. I don't talk to Adrian. I don't talk to Nathan. I don't talk to my mother. I scroll through my contacts sometimes, thinking maybe I'll reach out to an old friend. Then I remember I isolated everyone for years because I had everything, and I burned it all down for fantasy. But I'm still here, still facing it. And the worst part, I'm still waiting for the next consequence to hit. Because I know this isn't over. It finally boiled over 3 months later. By that point, I had found a temp job answering phones at a local HVAC company. Nothing exciting, but it paid enough to keep me afloat. I was staying quiet, keeping to myself, trying to avoid the stares and whispers I imagined were happening everywhere. I went every time I walked into a store or drove past a familiar spot. I wondered if someone knew, if someone had seen the messages, or the photo, or heard about what I did. I hadn't heard from Nathan since that last message. No updates, no reply, no word from Celine either. I stopped trying. It felt like every time I reached out, I just made things worse. Then one afternoon, while I was leaving work, my phone rang, unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. A few minutes later, it buzzed again. Same number. I answered. "Is this Elise?" Yes, who is this? This is Daphne. I'm calling from the Buncombe County Clerk's office. You've been served. Divorce paperwork will be delivered to your address today or tomorrow. You'll need to respond within 21 days. I didn't even respond. I just hung up. It didn't matter that we weren't married yet. Nathan had filed for what's called dissolution of domestic partnership since we'd been living together for years, had joint accounts, and shared property. He wanted nothing tying us together. If I sat in my car, key still, in the ignition, and just stared at the steering wheel. This was it. This was the real ending. That night, I finally cried in a way I hadn't before. The kind of cry that comes from your stomach. The kind that leaves your whole body sore after. I cried for Nathan, for Bentley, for the life I'd thrown away. But most of all, I cried because I couldn't take any of it back. I wish I could say the crying helped, that I felt lighter. One didn't. A few days later, the paperwork showed up. Thick envelope, formal language, cold words like irreconcilable differences and division of assets. He didn't want anything from me. He didn't ask for money, didn't ask for the furniture, or the car, or even the joint savings account we'd built together, just wanted out. It was like he wanted to erase me completely. I signed it. I sent it back the next morning. In about 2 weeks after that, the final fallout hit. A former co-worker of mine, someone I used to be friendly with at the bank, posted something vague on Facebook. I normally never checked, but this one popped up on my feed because we had mutual friends. It read, "Wild how some people pretend to be perfect partners while sexting old flames on company time. Hope the thrill was worth the crash." I felt my stomach flip. The comments underneath weren't directed at me by name, but they didn't have to be. The messages had leaked. I don't know how. Maybe Adrian shared them. Maybe Nathan forwarded them to someone. Maybe someone found a way into my phone or cloud storage before I deleted everything. But they were out there now. A week later, I was in line at a coffee shop when a woman behind me tapped me on the shoulder. "Excuse me," she said. "Are you Elisa?" I nodded slowly. She looked me up and down and said, "You should be ashamed of yourself." Then she walked away. She didn't yell, didn't cause a scene, but that moment stayed with me. It was the first time someone had looked me in the eye and said what I'd been saying to myself every day: I am ashamed. Not because I got caught, not because I lost everything, but because I was cruel to someone who loved me unconditionally. I made him feel like he wasn't enough when he was everything. Nathan is probably still healing. I hope he is. I hope he's in therapy. I hope he's talking to someone. I hope Bentley brings him peace. I don't deserve updates on his life, but I pray for them anyway. As for me, I'm still living in that apartment, still working temp jobs, still quiet, still alone. I don't date. I don't trust myself too. I used to think cheating was just a symptom of a broken relationship, that both people had to be at fault. But that's not always true. Sometimes one person just chooses destruction, and that was me. I haven't forgiven myself, and I don't expect anyone else to. This is my story. It's not a cry for pity. It's not a request for a second chance. It's just the truth that I cheated. I broke someone who loved me, and I'll carry that with me for the rest of my life.